Listen, everybody talks about beauty. They talk about the face, the body, the smile, the clothes, but real attraction, real addiction, that ain't built on appearances because beauty fades, excitement fades, even passion rises and falls. But certain behaviors, certain energies, certain ways a woman carries herself, they stay in a man's soul long after the conversation ends, and that's what we're talking about today. Not manipulation, not games, not pretending to be somebody you're not. We're talking about becoming so authentic, so powerful, so unforgettable that your presence becomes impossible to replace, because the truth is, people don't become addicted to perfection. They become addicted to how you make them feel. So today we're diving deep into 6 powerful truths, 3 beautiful behaviors, and 3 deeper principles behind them that create emotional connection, loyalty, and lasting love. Let's begin. Peace is a rare thing these days. Everybody's fighting something. Some people are fighting bills, some are fighting childhood wounds, some are fighting fears they never speak about, and some are fighting battles so deep that they smile in public while breaking apart in private. That's why peace has become one of the most valuable gifts you can bring into a relationship. See, a lot of people think love survives on passion alone. They think if the chemistry is strong enough, everything else will work itself out. But chemistry might start a relationship. Peace is what keeps it alive. Because after the excitement settles down, after the late night conversations become everyday conversations, after real life shows up with responsibilities, stress, disappointments, and pressure, people begin asking themselves one question: do I feel safe here? Not physically, emotionally? Can I make mistakes without being humiliated? Can I speak my truth without starting a war? Can I come home exhausted without being judged? Can I be human? Too many relationships become battlegrounds. Every disagreement turns into a competition. Every misunderstanding becomes an attack. Every mistake is remembered, replayed, and used as ammunition in the next argument. And slowly, love starts suffocating. Think about a man who's been fighting the world all day. Maybe he spent 10 hours at work dealing with pressure, expectations, and problems. Maybe he's carrying family burdens nobody knows about. Maybe he's trying to stay strong because society taught him that showing pain is weakness. Now imagine him coming home. In one home, he's greeted with criticism before he even sits down. You never do enough. You always mess things up. Why are you acting like that? The house becomes another battlefield. But in another home, he's met with understanding. Rough day? Talk to me. We'll get through it together. That changes everything. Because peace doesn't mean there are no disagreements. Every healthy relationship has disagreements. Peace means both people choose understanding over destruction. Peace means solving problems without destroying each other in the process. It takes strength to remain calm when emotions are high. Anybody can yell. Anybody can slam doors, say hurtful things, or walk away. But it takes maturity to pause, listen, and communicate with respect, even when you're hurt. Real strength isn't found in winning arguments. It's found in protecting the relationship while resolving the conflict. Researchers who study long-lasting relationships consistently find that couples who communicate respectfully, show empathy, and avoid constant criticism have significantly stronger and healthier partnerships. Why? Because people grow where they feel accepted. They stay where they feel valued. And they return to places that bring them peace. Never underestimate the power of a calm spirit. In a noisy world filled with chaos, drama, and uncertainty, becoming someone's place of peace is one of the most beautiful forms of love. Because beauty may catch someone's attention, but peace captures their heart. One of the most attractive things a person can possess isn't beauty, money, or status. It's purpose. There's something powerful about someone who wakes up every morning with a reason to move forward, a dream to chase, a mission bigger than themselves. That kind of energy can't be bought, and it can't be faked. People are naturally drawn to those who are growing, evolving, and building something meaningful with their lives. Too many people enter relationships and slowly begin to disappear. They stop pursuing their passions, they abandon their goals, they make one person the center of their entire universe, believing that's what love requires. But love was never meant to erase you. Love should add to your life, not replace it. The truth is, when you lose yourself trying to keep somebody else, eventually you begin to lose the relationship too. Because resentment starts growing in places where dreams used to live. You start expecting another person to fill every emotional need, solve every problem, and provide every ounce of happiness. That's a burden no human being was ever designed to carry. Real love isn't about dependency. It's about partnership. Imagine two people walking side by side. Both have dreams. Both have ambitions. Both are working on becoming better versions of themselves. When they come together, they don't drain each other. They inspire each other. That's powerful. Think about the people who leave the deepest impression on us. Usually, they're not the ones who sat still. They're the ones who kept rising despite setbacks. The ones who continued chasing their purpose through heartbreak, disappointment, failure, and fear. Purpose creates confidence. And confidence creates attraction, not arrogance, not pride. Genuine confidence, the quiet kind that says, I know who I am and I'm still becoming who I'm meant to be. Life has a way of testing everybody. There will be seasons when dreams seem distant. There will be moments when giving up feels easier than continuing. But never allow a relationship, no matter how beautiful, to become an excuse to abandon your own growth. Keep learning, keep creating, keep building. Maybe your purpose is raising a family with love and integrity. Maybe it's starting a business. Maybe it's writing, teaching, helping others, or overcoming struggles that once almost broke you. Purpose doesn't have to make headlines to matter. Sometimes the most meaningful missions happen quietly, behind closed doors, away from applause. A relationship becomes stronger when both people continue growing individually. You bring new experiences, fresh perspectives, and renewed energy into each other's lives. Growth prevents stagnation, and stagnation is dangerous because when people stop growing, they often start blaming their partner, blaming circumstances, blaming life. But growth reminds us that we still have power over our future. Never forget, the person who is truly meant for you won't be threatened by your dreams. They'll encourage them. They'll celebrate your victories and stand beside you during your struggles. So continue becoming, continue evolving, continue honoring the gifts, talents, and dreams placed inside you. Because a person with purpose doesn't just attract love. They inspire it. One of the greatest gifts you can give another person is your ability to truly listen. Not listen so you can respond. Not listen so you can defend yourself. Not listen so you can prove you're right. Listen to understand, because the truth is, most people go through life carrying invisible pain. They smile, they laugh, they show up every day, but deep inside they're fighting battles nobody knows about. Some are carrying childhood wounds. Some are carrying disappointment. Some are carrying fears they've never spoken out loud because somewhere along the way they learned that vulnerability was dangerous. That's why being heard means so much. There are people who can spend years in relationships and still feel completely alone. They sit beside somebody every night yet feel unseen. They speak, but their words never truly land. They express pain, but instead of receiving understanding, they receive judgment, criticism, or dismissal. After a while, something inside begins to shut down. Because when people feel unheard long enough, they stop sharing. And when they stop sharing, distance begins to grow. Real connection starts when someone feels safe enough to reveal what's really going on inside their heart. Think about it. How many arguments begin because people aren't actually listening to each other? One person speaks from pain, and the other person immediately starts preparing a defense. Instead of trying to understand the hurt, they're trying to win the argument. But relationships aren't courtrooms. Love isn't about winning, it's about understanding. Sometimes people don't need solutions. Sometimes they don't need advice. Sometimes they simply need someone to sit beside them and say, I hear you. I may not fully understand everything you're feeling, but your feelings matter. Those words carry power. Imagine a man who has spent his entire life believing he has to be strong every moment of every day. He's been taught to hide fear, hide sadness, hide disappointment. He walks through life carrying responsibilities on his shoulders, never allowing himself to break. Then one day, he sits across from someone who genuinely listens. No interruptions, no judgment, no criticism, just presence. For the first time in a long time, he feels safe. That's unforgettable. The same is true for anyone. Every human being longs to be understood. We all want to know that our thoughts matter. Our struggles matter, and our emotions aren't too much for somebody to handle. Listening also requires humility, because sometimes understanding another person's pain means accepting that you may have contributed to it. Sometimes it means putting pride aside long enough to say, Help me understand what you're feeling. Pride builds walls. Understanding builds bridges. Psychologists have found that emotional validation strengthens trust and intimacy in relationships. When people feel understood, stress decreases, communication improves, and emotional bonds deepen. It isn't complicated science. It's human nature. The next time someone you love speaks, listen beyond their words. Sometimes I'm fine means I'm exhausted. Sometimes anger is really hurt. Sometimes silence is disappointment. And sometimes the strongest people are the ones silently asking for someone, anyone, to truly hear them. Because people may forget what you said. They may forget what you did. But they rarely forget how it felt to finally be understood. Love without respect is like a house built on sand. It might look beautiful from the outside, but the moment life storms arrive, everything starts falling apart. A lot of people say they love somebody, but love is more than words. Love is more than gifts, late night conversations, and promises made when everything feels good. Real love reveals itself in the difficult moments. It shows up during disagreements, misunderstandings, disappointments, and pain, because anybody can love you when you're easy to love. The real question is, how do they treat you when they're angry? How do they speak to you when emotions are high? How do they handle your mistakes, your weaknesses, your vulnerable moments? That's where respect lives. Too many relationships fall apart because people forget they're supposed to be protecting each other, not destroying each other. They begin using words like weapons. They start exposing private struggles during arguments. They embarrass each other in public, criticize each other in front of friends, and slowly tear down the very person they once promised to build with. Words leave scars. Sometimes those scars last longer than any physical wound. Think about a young couple deeply in love. In the beginning, they support one another, encourage one another, and dream together. But over time, stress enters the picture. Bills pile up, responsibilities increase, life becomes heavy. Instead of facing those challenges as a team, they begin turning against each other. Every disagreement becomes a battle. Every conversation becomes a competition. Nobody wants to lose. So both people fight harder and harder until they forget what they were fighting for in the first place. The relationship stops feeling like home. It starts feeling like war. But real strength isn't found in dominating somebody you love. Real strength is found in restraint. It's found in choosing not to say the cruel thing even when you're hurt. It's found in protecting your partner's dignity even when you're disappointed. Respect says, I may be upset, but I will not humiliate you. Respect says, I disagree with you, but I still value you. Respect says, we're facing a problem together. We are not enemies. Psychologists who study successful long-term relationships consistently find that contempt, mockery, ridicule, and constant criticism is one of the strongest predictors of relationship failure. Why? Because human beings cannot thrive where they constantly feel small, unwanted, or disrespected. Everybody wants to feel appreciated. Everybody wants to feel safe. Everybody wants to know that the person standing beside them will still honor them when life gets hard. Respect also means honoring dreams, boundaries, and individuality. It means celebrating each other's growth instead of feeling threatened by it. It means listening when someone says, this hurts me, rather than dismissing their feelings. Life is already hard enough. The world can be cold. Every day people walk through battles nobody sees. That's why relationships should become places of refuge, not additional sources of pain. At the end of the day, passion may bring two people together, but respect is what keeps them together. Because when two people genuinely respect one another, trust grows, communication deepens, and love gains the strength to survive even the darkest seasons. In a world where everybody is trying to impress, pretending has become normal. People wear masks everywhere they go. They pretend to be stronger than they are, happier than they are, richer than they are, and sometimes even more in love than they truly are. Social media made it easy. Filters, perfect pictures, carefully chosen words, everything designed to make life look flawless. But here's the truth. Perfection doesn't create connection. Truth does. Real connection begins the moment people stop performing and start revealing who they really are. Too many relationships fall apart because they were built on images instead of honesty. In the beginning, both people are trying so hard to be accepted that they hide their fears, hide their struggles, and hide the parts of themselves they believe are unlovable. They say what they think the other person wants to hear. They become whoever they think they need to become. But no mask can stay on forever. Eventually, life happens. Hard times come. Stress arrives. Pain shows up. And suddenly the person behind the performance appears. That's why authenticity matters so much. Because when somebody loves the real you, not the polished version, not the perfect version, but the real version, that love stands on a stronger foundation. Think about how exhausting it is to pretend every day. Imagine waking up every morning feeling like you have to earn love by being somebody else. Sooner or later, that pressure becomes too heavy. You begin to lose sight of who you are. You forget your own voice because you've spent so much time living for other people's approval. And that's dangerous, because losing yourself is one of the greatest tragedies a person can experience. Real strength isn't pretending you never struggle. Real strength is having the courage to say, I'm hurting. Real strength is admitting, I don't have everything figured out. Real strength is being honest about your fears, your dreams, your mistakes, and your scars. Everybody has scars. Some people carry scars from childhood. Some carry scars from betrayal. Some carry scars from broken dreams and painful experiences that change them forever. Those experiences shape us. They teach us. They make us human. The right people won't run from your truth. They'll respect it. In fact, honesty often inspires honesty. When one person chooses to be genuine, it creates space for others to lower their walls too. Suddenly, conversations become deeper. Trust grows stronger. Love becomes more real. Research consistently shows that authenticity strengthens emotional intimacy and relationship satisfaction. Why? Because trust cannot grow where deception lives. People need to know that what they're seeing is real. That doesn't mean sharing every thought or exposing every wound immediately. Authenticity simply means living in alignment with who you truly are. It means your words match your actions. It means your values guide your decisions. Stop chasing approval. Stop shrinking yourself. Stop believing you must become someone else to deserve love. Because the people who are truly meant to walk beside you won't fall in love with an act. They'll fall in love with your honesty, your resilience, your imperfections, and the unique story that only you can tell. And there is nothing more powerful than being loved for who you really are. A lot of people grow up believing that love is something you find once, and then everything magically works out. They believe if the feelings are strong enough in the beginning, the relationship will somehow survive on its own. But life has a way of teaching us something different. Love isn't just a feeling. It's a decision made over and over again, especially on the days when it's difficult. Because real life isn't a movie. Real life brings stress, disappointment, misunderstandings, financial struggles, personal battles, and moments when two people feel distant even while sitting in the same room. Anybody can love when everything is easy. Anybody can smile when life is good, when the money is flowing, when the laughter comes naturally, when the future looks bright. But what happens when life gets heavy? What happens when one person loses their job, when dreams don't work out, when exhaustion replaces excitement, when both people are carrying wounds they don't know how to talk about? That's when love stops being a feeling and becomes a choice. Every lasting relationship is built on thousands of small decisions. The decision to communicate instead of shutting down. The decision to forgive instead of keeping score. The decision to stay patient instead of becoming cruel. The decision to say, we're going to face this together. Too many relationships fall apart because people stop choosing each other. They begin taking each other for granted. Appreciation disappears. Effort disappears. Conversations become shorter. Kindness becomes rare. And slowly, two people who once couldn't spend a moment apart become strangers, not because love disappeared overnight, but because love was neglected. Think about a garden. You can't plant seeds and expect flowers to bloom forever without attention. You have to water it, protect it, care for it consistently. Relationships work the same way. Love grows where effort exists. Sometimes the most powerful acts of love aren't grand gestures. They're ordinary moments repeated consistently. A text message asking, did you make it home safely? A hug after a difficult day, listening when someone needs to talk, saying thank you for things that often go unnoticed. Research on long-term relationships consistently shows that gratitude strengthens emotional bonds. Couples who regularly express appreciation report greater happiness, stronger trust, and deeper satisfaction. Why? Because everybody wants to feel valued. Everybody wants to know that their efforts matter. Life already gives people enough reasons to feel invisible. Home should be the place where people feel seen. There will be seasons when love feels effortless. There will also be seasons when it feels like work. That's normal. The strongest relationships aren't the ones without struggles. They're the ones where both people refuse to stop choosing each other during those struggles. Because loyalty isn't proven during easy times. It's proven when staying requires patience, sacrifice, understanding, and faith. Never underestimate the power of simple words. I appreciate you. I'm proud of you. I'm here for you. We'll get through this. Those words can carry somebody through their darkest moments. At the end of the day, lasting love isn't built in one extraordinary moment. It's built day by day, choice by choice, through two imperfect people who continue reaching for one another, even when life tries to pull them apart.